So initial, like maybe 2-3 class, we will have discussion of basic concepts in Mulesoft. Okay, and then slowly we will move for advanced concept. Okay, since if you want to get a deep understanding of Mulesoft, to understand Mulesoft architect, like first you need to have good understanding of basic things also. Okay, so today, like we will discuss about Mule event. Okay, so whenever we start any Mule processing, okay, whenever we start any Mule processing, so first thing, what it will do, it will create Mule event. Okay, and Mule event contains multiple things. First, Mule message and then variable. Okay. Inside Mule message, again, it's divided into two parts. One is attribute and another one is payload. Okay, and this attribute is further divided into three parts. One is header, another one is query parameter, and then URI parameter. Okay, so how and when exactly this Mule event will be created? So let's say this is your Mule application. Okay, here you have event source, or you can say listener, and then you have Mule processor, event processor. It can be anything. It can be choice router, it can be set variable, it can be logger. All of these are known as event processor. It can be HTTP requester also. Okay. So what happened? Like whenever request will come, someone will trigger your API. So who will listen that request? So request will be listened by event source. Okay. Now, once this event source will be triggered, one Mule event will be created. Okay, and he will capture all this information here inside this Mule event. So whatever as a input, whatever header, query parameter, URI parameter, this event source will receive, it will be stored inside attributes, and whatever request body this event source will receive, that will be stored inside payload. Okay, and during this processing, whatever variables will be created, that will be stored inside this variable. Okay, now can anyone tell me like what all possible syntax we have to to retrieve data from this payload? Or if I want,
yeah,
sorry,
go ahead.
or if I want to retrieve data from header, any header, so what all possible syntax we can have? Okay, let me open Notepad also.
If you want to get a payload, we can get a hash payload, we can mention it. That is the only one option to get a payload.
Okay, okay. So you are saying for payload,
yeah,
we
hash
have as payload. Okay. What about headers? If I want to retrieve any particular header, what will be syntax?
Header is a query parameters as query parameters.
Yeah, no, I want to retrieve any particular header. So what will be syntax?
Attributes dot
Attributes dot headers
headers.
dot header name.
Yeah.
Okay. So any other syntax? I want to retrieve this payload. Is there any other way I can retrieve? And for header also, is there any other syntax we can use to retrieve?
Yeah, message dot message
For
has
which?
message dot for payload message dot like a whole message we need to take. In that we can get payload message dot payload like
Yes. Since this payload is child of message. Okay. So either you can write simple payload or you can write payload message dot payload. Okay, both are correct syntax only. Okay, so Mulesoft support both syntax since this payload is part of message. Same way, this attribute is also part of message. So either you can write this syntax or you can write message dot attributes dot header name. Same way, you can write for query parameter, URI parameter. Okay. But if I want to retrieve data from variable, so in that case, what will be our syntax?
where's
Where's dot variable name.
variable yeah.
Is there any other syntax for this? Can we put message dot where's dot variable name?
I don't think so because of message block contains only attributes and payload only.
Yes,
Variables is
correct.
different.
Yes, correct. So here you can see inside mule event, we have mule message and variable. Variable is not part of mule message. It's a separate component. Okay. So mule message contain attributes and payload. So whenever you want to retrieve attribute or payload, either you can start directly from attributes or directly from payload, or you can put message.attributes or message.payloads as message.payload. Okay, hope everyone is clear. And when this mule event will be created, whenever your mule application processing like mule application processing will start. Okay, whenever it will trigger your event source will create this mule event, and this mule event will move from one component to another component. So here you can see in this event source, just after this mule event got created, and now this mule event is passing like it will go to this event processor. Here this event processor may or may not update this mule event, and then it will go for same mule event like updated, or if you are updating, then updated mule event will be moved to this next event processor. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me like if we have batch processing here? Let's create one diagram. Okay. Let's say this one is our event source. Before that, like let's say this is our mule application. This is our event source. Event processor. And after this, okay, we have scatter gather component. We have 3 event processor. Okay, so here we have one mule event. Okay, let's say one mule event got created here. Okay, now what will happen with this? Okay, let's say here we have mule event 1. Okay, mule event 1 means mule event having some data, and this set of data got updated here. And now at this place we have mule event 2. Means same mule event is there, but data got updated. Now what will be like a mule event value here? It will be mule event 1 or mule event 2 on this place.
It will split it, right? The event will be split it.
Event will be splitted into these 3.
Yes.
Anyone else want to answer this?
I think
So
the same
same
event
mule
will
event
go
will be,
all in three. Yeah, and the
yeah.
response will be an array of linked list something.
So this same mule event will be passed to all 3 branch. Okay. So whenever we have scatter gather, okay, so same mule event will be transferred for each branch. Okay, it will not be splitted. Same copy of mule event will be sent to each branch. Okay, and if it will be choice router, then what will happen? Let's say instead of this,
It would be either A or B, right? Based on the choice, like whichever condition is satisfied.
yes. So what will happen? Let's say this condition satisfied. So same copy of mule event will be sent to this. Okay. And if it will satisfy default one, then same copy of mule event will go to default one. Okay. So hope everyone clear with this mule event. Anyone has any doubt? Quickly let me know.
Yeah, we are okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me save this. So for future reference, it will be helpful. Okay. So we discussed like mule message. So Mule message contain two part, attribute and payload. And inside attributes, we have query parameter, URI parameter, and header. Okay. To access query parameter, it will be attributes dot query params. To access URI parameter, attributes dot URI params. And to access header, syntax will be attributes dot header. Okay. And inside payload, you will pass actual payload body message. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me like what kind of data we will pass inside payload, what kind of data we will pass inside at URI parameter, what kind of data we will pass in query parameter, and what kind of data we will pass inside header. Okay, you can pass any data to anyone, but there are some API governance we should follow. Based on that, specific data only we should pass into specific component. Okay, so anyone has idea what like as per API governance, what kind of data we should pass in which part of our Mule message? Okay, let's discuss about URI parameter. So what kind of data we should pass inside URI parameter?
Maybe a GET request.
Get request is fine. Okay, it's not mandatory. Whenever we will have get request, then only we will pass URI parameter. URI parameter we can pass in get also, put also, patch also, delete also.
So maybe in the URL, if you have a URL in which there is a constant with the value of which is always going to change, so you can put that as a URI parameter, be it any request. For example, you're retrieving information for student ID, the student ID 1, 2, 3, 4. So it 1, 2, 3, 4 can always be changing. So you will put it in the URI parameter, and that will be
While
replaced.
other things also like header data can also be changed. Query parameter data also can change.
Right.
Okay. So first URI parameter. Whenever we want to pass unique identifier to our API, okay, what will be unique identifier? Let's say I want to retrieve customer information. So customer ID is unique here. Okay, for each customer, there will be one unique customer ID. So that will be unique identifier to retrieve any customer. Or if I want to update any customer information, to update customer information also, we need to pass unique identifier, that is URI parameter. Okay, so whenever you will think you are calling your API based on some unique identifier to perform some operation, it can be retrieve also, it can be update also, it can be delete also. Then we should pass that kind of data inside URI parameter. And as I mentioned, like one of the best example will be you are either retrieving, updating, or deleting customer information based on customer ID. Is it clear to everyone?
Can you repeat again? We didn't catch this point.
Okay.
So,
So
as
let
you
me
said,
put like this. Okay.
yeah.
Let me put like this. So here my requirement is I want to retrieve customer information based on okay. So let me create 5-6 scenario. Okay. So first requirement here, we are retrieving customer information based on customer ID. Okay. So in this particular case, we are retrieving any customer information based on one unique identifier. This customer ID is unique identifier. So if we have this kind of data in our request payload, we must need to pass inside URI parameter. So what will be our resource here? Slash customer slash curly braces customer ID. So we will pass this customer ID inside unique URI parameter since this is the unique identifier for our API. Okay, same in case of this update also in this delete also. Now, in case of this here, we are retrieving customer information having age more than 60 years. Okay, so this age more than 60 years is a filter condition here. Okay, it's not unique value. Based on this age, there will be like a thousand of customer also. So we are not uniquely identifying customer. We are doing filtering in our customer. So whatever customer information we have, based on this condition, we are doing filtering. So here our resource will be only customers. Okay, but we need to pass one query parameter. What will be our query parameter? Query parameter will be age. So based on this age, we are doing filtering. So this kind of input data we should pass inside query parameter. Okay, same. What about this one? Here, what we are saying, like that, we want to retrieve customer information where their age is in between this range. Okay, so what will be here query parameter? Two query parameter will be there, from date and to date. Okay, there will be two query parameter, from date and to date. Okay, same way here we want to retrieve customer information having city A, B, and C. Again, this will be our query parameter only. Okay, where we will pass what? We will pass city. Okay, and this city value will be comma separated value. It can be ABC, PQ, or whatever. So first thing we understood, query parameter, URI parameter, that will be unique identifier. Second, query parameter, that will be filter condition. Now what about header? Can anyone tell me what kind of data we will pass inside header?
Token IDs, security codes.
Yes. So whatever metadata, okay. So those data is not required for manipulation of our API. Okay, our API response will not depend on those parameters. Okay, so those kind of data we should pass inside header. It can be security policy, things like client ID, client secret, basic authentication detail. Okay, it can be our metadata, like what will be type of data. Okay, like accept. Okay, then we have few more like let me see. So metadata transaction ID. If we want to pass any transaction ID for our API, then again that will be also passed inside header. Content type, what will be a content type of our API. So all this kind of metadata we should pass inside header. Next, what kind of data we will pass inside payload? So payload will contain any processing data. For example, I want to create one record, okay, or I want to update a record where we are passing for which customer we want to update, but we want to update some data. So that data we need to pass inside payload. What data we want to update, that we need to pass inside payload. Or if we want to create new record, then also we need processing data. Okay, that data will be part of payload. Like I want to create customer information. Create customer record. Okay, so here we will pass. So resource will be again slash customer. Okay, and you will pass here payload. Inside payload, you will pass processing data like customer name, age, date of birth, gender. Okay, that kind of detail you will pass here. So that can be name, age, date of birth, like that. Okay, and header we discuss, we will pass metadata. Okay, so all this will be part of our mule message. Okay, and variable. Okay, so there will be two types of variable. Okay, one is predefined variable and another one is user defined variable. Okay. So whatever variable you are creating using set variable component, those are user defined variable. Okay, so that variable name will be defined by you. Okay, value will be defined by you only. As a developer, we give variable name. Okay, let me open studio. So here inside code, we have this set variable component. So using this component here, you can see you are defining variable name and you are assigning the value. Okay, so everything will be done by user only. So this kind of variable is known as user defined variable. But a part of that also, we have some predefined variable. Okay. So what all predefined variable we have? First one is flow. Okay. Using this predefined variable, you will able to retrieve flow name. Okay. Let's say I want to get flow name at any place of our Mule application. Mostly we use this flow name variable when we want to log our data. Okay. So we want to capture in which flow we got error. Okay. Or in like what is the current execution of our flow. In those places, we use this flow name variable. Okay, so syntax will be flow dot name. Okay, let's say here I'm creating one predefined variable and I'm capturing. Sorry, I'm creating one user defined variable. Or let me simply put the logger. And here flow dot name. And here I am defining one predefined variable. Paste value is also paste. Okay, it's deployed. So we have request at this point. So far, you can see there is no variable, but we have created one user defined variable. So one variable will be created here. Okay. And here we are using this predefined variable in our logger component. Okay. So after this, if you are using any predefined variable, none of the variable will be created here. So predefined variable you will not able to see inside where's. Okay, only user defined variable you will be able to see here. But we have kept in the logger, even yeah, we have kept inside logger. So you will able to see that particular in our log. Okay, here you will able to see. So what we did inside log, we kept flow.name. And what is the flow name here? Demo flow. So that's why we are getting here demo flow. Is it clear for everyone for this predefined variable and user defined variable? If everything is good, just put in yes in our chat. So I will keep getting like everything is clear. Okay, fine. Now we have few more predefined variable. Another one is mule. Okay. So inside this mule, we have cluster ID, we have home, we have node ID, we have version. Okay. So all of this will give you some detail like where your Mule application is running, in which cluster node it's running, what is the version of your Mule runtime. Okay, so let's say we'll use this one, mule.version. So in this Mule application, I will put one more logger.
Ravi, some echo coming. Someone is calling to you. Maybe that was ringing
It's not.
to you
It's not
in the
on my
Teams.
side. It's not on my side. I'm not getting any echo. So anyone else is getting echo?
Someone calling, getting calling. So we are unable to hear the class.
No, no. Let me check with other. Anyone else facing this kind of problem? Any kind of echo?
No, Ravi.
No, Ravi.
Yeah, we are not getting any echo.
Okay, I can relog in. Ravi, could you please accept? I will relog in it again. Maybe.
Okay, we'll wait for 2 minutes. Yeah, you can join quickly. Meanwhile, I'm deploying this application. So if you will do small change in our Mule application and you are running in debug mode, no need to redeploy. It will automatically deploy your Mule application. Okay, so and then you will get this kind of message. So deployment is done. Let's wait for Jala and then we will start. Let him join back. Okay, now is it good? So this time what we did, we are capturing this predefined variable that is mule.version. So we already redeployed this application. Let's see what is the value of this. So after this, and you can see here this variable executed, but still there is only one variable. So inside this variable, you will able to see only user defined variable. Okay, and then here you can see flow name, and here you will able to see mule version. Okay, so this another variable mule.version will give you detail of your mule runtime version. Okay, so this is the another set of predefined variable. So generally, like we use this kind of predefined variable for our logging purpose. And this this is user defined. Okay, so we already discussed about this one. And then we have application, like one variable is there, app, which will give you application detail, like what encoding you are using, what is application name. Okay, then is your application is standalone or clustered, or what kind of application is that? Then what is the working directory of your Mule application, in which registry it's running? Okay, so those kind of detail you will get using this application variable. Okay, generally, like we very rarely use this predefined variable, but mostly for logging purpose we have to use. Then correlation ID is another variable which will give you correlation ID of that particular transaction. Okay, so these all are our variables, or you can say predefined variable, except this varies. Okay, this we use for user defined variable. Let me remove this and put it here. This will be user defined. Okay, then
Ravi, a small question. The correlation ID, which will be automatically generated, or some how we can get this correlation ID?
whenever your Mule application will start, one correlation ID will be generated automatically. Okay,
Okay,
to
okay,
get that
okay,
correlation ID, we will use this.
okay, okay, got it.
Okay, similar to Mule message, similar to predefined variables, one Mule error object will be created whenever there will be error. Okay, if your Mule application is running and whenever your Mule application will get error, it will create one Mule error object. Okay, and that error object will have again multiple child element which contains detailed information about the error. Okay, so what all child element it has? So one is description. So what will be syntax to get the value of description? Error dot description. So what it will give? It will give you description of your error, like what is the problem and what is the region of that problem. In detailed description, syntax will be error dot detailed description. It will give you detailed description of your error. Okay, but most of the case you will see description and detailed description have same set of data, but sometime it may be different also. So in description you will get short description, and in detailed description you will get complete message why exactly it's failing. Okay, then type. So in Mulesoft we have different type of errors. Okay, it can be expression error, it can be connector error, it can be like connectivity error. So we have multiple type. Okay, based on the type, like you will get one prefix and you will get suffix. Like our error type is divided into two parts. So one will be prefix that will tell you type about type, and then inside suffix you will able to see what particular type. Okay, if it is connectivity error, then what is the detail of that connectivity? Means not detail, like further heading of that particular error. Okay, so next we have couch. Okay, so it will give us the like underlying Java throwable that result means it, like Mulesoft is based on Java, so it will give you like what is the region, like what is Java component throwing error now, so that will be captured inside this. Okay, then message. So here, similar to like Mule message, in this error object also has this message which will which will tell you about the this particular error. Okay, this is not related to our Mule event message. Okay, this is the error message. Okay, and if we will have any child error, then this will be populated, like this data will be populated inside error.child error. Okay, mostly like these three, description, detailed description, and type, we use very frequently whenever we have error. So you need to do some processing. So those time we use these three component: description, detailed description, and type. Okay, and a part of this, like we have one another component that is Mule Domain. Okay, so first thing, like key point is that this Mule Domain works only on on-prem deployment model. Okay, like if you have on-prem deployment, like your runtime plane is hosted on customer's infrastructure, then only this domain will work. This domain doesn't work on Cloud Hub or RTF, since in Cloud Hub and RTF, okay, each worker where we deploy our Mule application will be treated as separate entity. Okay, since that is inside one, what I can say, container, okay, which is completely isolated from another container, means another worker. So we can't create any reusable component among those workers. And this Mule domain contains reusable component. Okay. Okay, let me explain in this way, then you will get more clear picture. Let's say we have this Mule runtime, Mule server, where we have two application or two or three application is running. These three Mule application is running here. And at the same time, this is our on-prem one. Okay. And another we have let's say this is our Cloud Hub one. In on-prems, what happens? Like all this will be part of. Let me create one more layer. So in on-prems, what happened? All this application will use shared resource. Okay, so all this will be deployed and it will be running within, like you can say, shared resources only. There will be one machine where we will deploy our on-prem server, and on same on-prem server we have three Mule application, all are running and they are using shared resources. Shared resources like vCore and memory and everything. In this case, what happened, if we have any reusable component that is domain project, so that can be used by all three Mule application. But in case of this Cloud Hub, okay, in case of this Cloud Hub, all this Mule application has their own virtual machine. Okay, they are not using shared resources. They don't have shared memory. They don't have shared vCode. So all are running in their shared in their dedicated vCore and dedicated memory. So we can't create any shared resource among them. Okay, we can't create any domain project for this Cloud Hub, or same for RTF. Okay,
Ravi,
so
are you
this is the.
sharing any diagram because the screen is stuck at the document part?
Okay, let me reshare.
Thank you.
Let me know if it is visible.
Yes, now we can see. Thank you.
Okay, so here you can see this first one is on-prems, where we have one shared resource. Like let's say we have 2 vCode and 4 GB memory. Okay, this is like our shared resource where we are running our Mule runtime and we deployed 3 Mule application. Okay, So this 3 Mule application is using shared vCore, shared memory. So here we can create domain project and that can be used by all 3 Mule application. But in case of CloudHub, each worker will be treated as single machine, like they are running on their own vCore and their own, like there will be separate CPU and separate memory. Okay, they are not having any kind of shared resource. So domain project we can't use in our CloudHub deployment. Okay, since they don't have shared resources. Even if you will create domain project, that will be used by only one Mule application. So there is no advantage of creating domain project. Okay, so this is the main reason, like why domain project is supported only on on-prems. The main reason is on-prems has shared resources and this CloudHub don't have shared resources. Now in on-prems also nowadays, like many organizations are deploying based on this Docker and Kubernetes. Like if we are using OpenShift, then it supports automatic Docker concept. So where also we have containerized deployment. There also you will not able to see domain project. Okay. And what exactly we kept inside Mule domain? Here we kept all the reusable components. What all reusable component it can have? It can have schema. It can have like requester configuration. It can have any other properties, environment properties, all those kind of things we can store inside domain project. Hope
Ravi, I
everyone
have a
clear with this.
question.
Yes,
Ravi,
yes.
I have a question. In the on premises we have the shared resource we have, right? In the cloud we don't have shared resource, right? Like
Yes.
shared is also is a, one of the benefit, right? Why if we're not using the same memory, same ecosystem, uh, like what is the use of in the cloud of benefit? If we use the common thing, it will be more benefit, right? Why it is not providing the shared resource in the cloud hub? Why it is not
So see,
accepted?
like for everything, we have many advantage and disadvantage. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are using shared resource, if something will went wrong with one application, it
Mm-hmm.
will create problem for other application also. Let's say one application start using too much RAM and like more vCores. For other
Mm-hmm.
application, then resources will be very less and it will impact the other application. Correct?
Okay, okay, agree,
But
agree.
yeah, if there will be any crash, then all application will stop working in shared resources. Due to any reason, if your server will crash, then your all application will stop working. But in case of dedicated one, if any problem will come with any one worker, then only one worker will be impacted. Other worker will keep active and keep running.
Okay,
Is it
okay,
clear?
clear, clear.
So we'll move for next topic. So if anyone has any doubt in these things, okay, these all are very basic thing and you should have very in-depth understanding. Otherwise, you will not able to understand complex concept. So let me know if any doubt. Otherwise, I'm moving for next component. Okay, fine then. So next,
So,
discuss.
one last question, Ravi.
Yes,
So, the
yes.
main difference of the cloud hub and PC, the like memory allocations and shared resource, any on top of the any other differentiation of these two PC and cloud hub?
See, there are many difference between Cloud Hub and on-premise one. Okay. So in Cloud Hub deployment model, everything will be provided by Mulesoft. Runtime plane, management plane, everything will be provided by Mulesoft. But in on-prems, you need to have your own infrastructure. Okay, and then Mulesoft will provide you on-prem server you can deploy on your infrastructure. Okay. Pricing wise, also on-prems should be a bit cheaper compared to cloud up since you are managing everything. Okay. So pricing wise also there will be difference. And there are many things related to security also. Okay. Many organizations who have more data security concern, they don't go for cloud up since cloud up is like in cloud up deployment model itself, like Mulesoft has purchased very big space in AWS cloud and they have created workers in shared cloud. Okay. So for security, data and security purpose, many organizations like insurance domain, banking domain, they don't prefer this cloud up. They use their on-premise deployment.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Okay. Clear. Clear.
Okay. Now moving to next part. Here, we will have a small recap of our endpoint studio. Okay, so in Anypoint Studio, this is the view of our Anypoint Studio. Okay, so here we have multiple things what you should know. Okay, like that you will use whenever you are like working with any developer, you want to review the process. So first is Mule message flow tab. So this is, you can say, Mule message flow. Here we create our Mule message. Okay. Then we have global element. Okay. This is the tab for global element where we define all the properties file. Okay. Not property configuration property file. Okay. Like for HTTP listener, we need HTTP listener configuration. For database, we need database configuration. So all this configuration we create inside global property, and inside configuration XML, you will able to see your XML code and you can update from here also. Okay. So Mule message flow we have, global element tab we have, and configuration XML we have. Okay, view wise we have package explorer. So here you can see this part. Okay, where you have project name, project folder structure, all those things we have inside package explorer. Okay, here you can have one application also and more than one application also. Based on the requirement, you can close or open the Mule application. And then we have Mule palette. Okay, so inside this Mule palette, you will able to see all the Mulesoft component. Okay, so you will able to see core components, you will able to see connectors, and you will able to see exchange module. You can include many other connector using this exchange module. Okay, a part of this, we have one favorite tab also where you can drag and like you can add Mule component which you use very frequently. Okay. And then whatever connector you will include in your Mule application, those connectors will be visible here. So at this moment, we have HTTP and socket, so I can see only HTTP and socket. Okay. Then we have property tab. So if you will select any Mule component, then property tab you will able to see here. Set variable, property tab. Here you can configure this variable, this particular Mule component, whatever required configuration you have, you can put here. We have console tab. Here you will able to see console log. Okay. You have problem tab where you will able to see all the warnings and problem in your Mule application. Okay. Then we have this Mule debugger. When you will start your Mule application in debug mode, then you will able to see all the debug component or debug result here inside Mule debugger. Okay. Apart of that, we have here like a unit things. Okay, when you will run your Mule application with munit, then you will able to see code coverage. What is the like how many flow have like once munit detail, like how many flows are there, how many are successfully run, and how many having error while running the munit. Another thing, you will able to see code coverage and all. You will able to generate reports. So all those things will come here. Okay. Now here you can see if you want to run your Mule application in debug mode, then you need to select this one. This will be in normal run mode, and this is for API design. Okay. This is the another mode we have. So here you can see this YAML detail and all. Okay. So all this basic thing you should know about this Anypoint Studio. So here I'm not going to spend more time since this is very big, like basic thing, and you should know about this. Just I'm doing small recap. Okay. Now this part maybe many of you know and many of you don't know. So this part you need to understand. Okay. So Mulesoft folder structure and best practices. Okay. When you go for this, okay, like any project, then we have multiple folders here. What exactly we do in each folder and what all best practice we should follow, that we will discuss. Okay. So here you can see this is your project name. Okay. So there like your project name should be very specific. Okay. By which you can identify what kind of API you have developed in which application. Okay. So here you can see I have given name as a payment PAPI app v1. Okay, means all the payment related process API. PAPI means process API. All the payment related process API I have within this Mule application. Okay, I kept as a version 1 since this is the initial version. If in future, like this process API, we will have another version, like there will be, we want to create new set of version, then I will make it v2. But at this moment, this is the initial version. So I kept as a v1. Now you will say why we need versioning, like why we need version 1, version 2. So sometime it may happen when you are working for any organization, like whatever set of code you developed, that old set of code is still required and they need a big change. Like in your Mule application, they have done some big change, and that change will is also required for your organization. Okay, so let's say some big CR came, and that due to that your API will be impacted. Okay, your API got completely impacted, but still your organization need all set of API. Okay, until unless new set of API will not be commissioned properly, they don't want to decommission your existing set of API. In that case, generally we need versioning. Okay, there are multiple way of versioning, but this is the we are versioning entire Mule application. Okay. Here we have first folder, that is src main mule, which contain your Mule configuration file. Okay. Now you can see here I have divided my Mule configuration file into 3 parts. First one is our main Mule configuration file, which contains HTTP listener, HTTP console, then which contains this listener one, console one, then flow, like flow for each resources, each method. Okay, here I have only one resource slash payment and only post method. So you can see here only one flow. But if we will have multiple resources, multiple methods, then we will have multiple flows. And after that, you can see I have created two folders. One is common and one is implementation. Inside common folder, what I will do, I will put all the common piece of code here. Let's say error handling. This error handling will be used in multiple places within our Mule application. Okay, so I kept inside common error XML file or Mule configuration file. Here I have configuration detail, okay, global elements. So this global element will be used by multiple places within our Mule application. So that's why I created inside another separate file. So it will be easy for developer to check any particular thing. Let's say he want to see what all common error things we have. So he will directly go here. What all global elements we have, he will go inside config.xml. Here we have common flow. Okay, if let's say you are thinking this particular flow will be used by multiple implementation, then you can put in common flow. Okay, so this common flow I am using at multiple. At this moment, I have only one, but when resource will increase, when resource will increase or when method will increase, I need that initialization everywhere. So that's why I created inside common flow. After that, we have implementation folder. In this implementation folder, whatever resource we have, whatever methods we have for each, we need implementation logic. So that implementation logic we use here, we create here. Okay. So in this way, we kept thing inside src main Mule component. A part of that src main Java we have. So inside this, we will create any Java code. We can write Java code if required. Okay. Java is not mandatory for Mulesoft, and slowly, like Mulesoft is adding more and more component, which is removing our dependency from Java. If you go to Mule 3, you need to do lots of things using Java. But in Mule 4, slowly they are keep adding components for each functionality. Okay, means for each requirement, they are keep adding components which you can directly drag and drop. So you don't need any Java code or anything. Then src main resources, here we keep or maintain all the resources. Okay, so here you can see I have two property file. One is application property file, another one is secret. So all the application property file I will kept inside here for each environment. Okay, we can have multiple environment where we will deploy our Mule application. So for each environment, I will create application property file here and secret property file here. And now what is secret property file? So there can be multiple property data. There can be multiple properties data which should be sensitive data. Means which can be sensitive data like database password, Salesforce secret key, or any other like client ID and client secret value. So those things are sensitive information. So those sensitive information we should not put directly. We should encrypt that data and then we should put in property file. So you can see here, you can see this encrypted data I have stored inside secret property file. Okay, so this property file I created, and for each environment I created. It's not common for all. I created for each environment. Then we have this API folder. Okay, this API folder will contain your YAML file. If you are taking YAML from Design Center or YAML from your local, but if you are taking from Exchange, then you will not able to see here. Okay. Then this one is our fragment from Exchange. Since in this particular implementation, I used fragment. and that fragment I am taking from Exchange. So you will able to see here, and inside fragment, you will able to see all the components like data type, example, traits, common library, everything is here. Okay. Then we have SRC test resources and SRC test unit. These two generally we use. Inside this, we write our unit code, and inside this, we kept all the unit resources. Okay, similar to this, SRC main mule and SRC main resources. Here we define our mule design and mule development. Here we do our mule development, and here we keep all the resources. Same way for munit, we define munit flow here, and resources we keep here. Then you can see some jar. Okay, so these all are for our connectors. In this API, we used API kit, HTTP, socket. So all this jar you will able to see with this Mule application. Okay, and this JRE system library will be automatically like for all application. These things will vary based on the how many connectors and components you are using, but this will be mandatory one. Okay, then this is our Mule server detail. Like here we are using 4.4.0, so you can see this server detail. Based on your server, it will change. Okay. Then we have this Mule artifact.json. Okay, this also contains some property file like related to minimum Mule version, and few or more property file you can configure here. And at the end we have POM file. Since Mule is a like Mule 4 is a Mavenized Mule application. Okay, it create Mavenized project which contains, and for Maven, like what you need to add Maven dependencies. Okay, so whatever connector and component you will use, you need to add their dependencies here. So what it will do at the time of deployment, it will download those dependencies from Maven. Okay, so this POM contains detail for our Mule Mavenized application. Okay. And one thing we are missing for our discussion, that is log4j file. Okay. This log4j file contains our logging detail. Okay. So in appender, you define where exactly you will place your log file. Okay. And then here we have async root. Here we define which level of log we want to display in our log file. Okay, we want to display info log, we want to display debug log, what kind of log we want to display. Inside this async root we define. Okay, so like we are now familiar with Mule folder structure and what all best practice we should follow. Okay, so let's take 5-10 minute
Ravi,
break. Yes.
how can we enable and disable logs in log4j, or in that logger only we can enable or disable logs?
Oh, here you need to define which level you want to display. If you want to display info level, you need to put info. If you want to display debug logger, you need to put here debugger. Okay.
If we want to disable logs, then what we need to do?
That you need to do on like what logging framework you are using. Okay, if you are using Splunk, Kibana, okay, that you need to do there only. But here, then if you need to remove complete this async root only.
Okay.
If you don't want to display info log also, just remove this one also. Okay.
Okay, Ravi.
Yeah. Okay, fine then. Let's take a 10-minute break and then we'll connect. Now we have only few topics left, so we'll complete that also. It will take 20 minutes more. Okay, fine. Let's join in 10 minutes.